What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the show. Appreciate y'all tuning in today. We've got a dynamite episode for you with Andare D'Acquisto, a name I'm sure all of you guys are familiar with. This episode is going to be absolutely one of my favorite, I would have to say. We really get into some good stuff with Andare. Talk a lot about life. I have some questions that I've always wanted to do this episode with Andare, so I had a few questions I really wanted to ask him just about business, life, hunting. We get into some late season stuff and tactics, but a lot of good stories, and I think a lot of you guys will really enjoy this one. I really was looking forward to having him join me and just break down a lot of the questions I've had with late season, um, and a few other things, just in general with whitetails. And having somebody with the knowledge of him is just super special to me. We've had Cody on here, and I feel like there's so much to offer from Cody. But when you think about how much time Andare spent in the woods chasing monarch whitetails and just giants in general, I think there's something for everybody to learn from this one, and I'm sure you guys will really enjoy it. First of all, I want to thank all of our sponsors: Lone Wolf Custom Gear, Osseo Gear, Painted Arrow Outdoors, and Timberwolf Supply Company. Guys, I hope you're following each and every one of these companies. We've got some great deals coming up. I know Osseo's got some deals going on right now. A lot of good stuff. Christmas is coming around the corner, so hopefully you guys are going to get some good goodies from the wives and the loved ones. But if you guys are looking for any products or anything little, Painted Arrow Outdoors has got some great affordable products. Use code RUNNGUN15 to save 15% at checkout, and tell them we sent you. And got some other good stuff coming down the line, y'all. We've got some good guests joining us here in the future, so stay tuned for that. And I want to get into our quote of the week. Really like this quote. This one's from Winston Churchill, and it has to do with success. Winston says, "Success consists of going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm." I hope that hits you. It's absolutely the truth. Going through failure and just keeping on pushing through until you really get what you're looking for is probably one of the biggest keys to success in the whitetail game. Sometimes it comes sooner, sometimes it comes later, but the drive to want to push through the season and continue through everything is one of the biggest tools in a hunter's pocket to have, is his mindset. So hope that you guys enjoy that one. Let's get into today's episode with Andare. What's going on, Andare? How you doing this morning, man?
I'm doing good. I got a little time to rest here now. We got gun season going on, so I can recharge the batteries, start cleaning up some spots, figuring out some game plans for late season.
Heck yeah, man. That's awesome. It's really interesting to me. They don't let archery hunters hunt during the gun season there in Iowa. How'd you feel about that when you first moved there?
Actually, I'll tell you, the amount that I hunt every morning, every evening, scout all day. There needs to be a little bit of a recharge somewhere in there.
Yeah.
My wife will bring me down a few times and insist that I do something, go to the grandkids play or something, take a day off. But man, I feel like I'm so in shape this year, and I got energy to boot. Normally, I need this time to rest, but I'm ready to roll right now. So
that's awesome.
Man.
I
was trying to get over by Justin out in Ohio over this gun season. He had some stuff planned, and then the deer ain't moving good because they got their gun season too. But so we'll just wait. Hit it hard when they come out,
Yeah, I think the late season in Ohio is awesome, man. As long as you can get to your buck before he sheds out. And I feel like the gun pressure and stuff, man, it's amazing here, like how much the deer shut down during gun season. And then it was almost like a light switch. Like they knew when them guns stopped going off, and they were like, bam, all the big mature deer that I've been chasing just started daylighting like crazy. And I ended up killing my buck. But then, as luck goes, the ones that you've been chasing all season that have been like, ghosts just seem to show up and run around during daylight all the time. So I'm like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, I'll take a bird in the hand over a bird in the bush any day, though.
Yeah, I'm lucky enough here with the big enough properties I got that, I mean, the last couple of years, it was like there wasn't even a gun season going on around here. This year I heard some shots. A neighbor's got a new crew, but any shooting or any pressure on the other, they just dive in here, and then they're good if they stay for the whole season. Nobody's bothering. Well,
Yeah.
actually, I shouldn't say that. Retta's out there. She's 7 years old. She's out running around with a shotgun right now, trying to put one down. So
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, though. I'm sure you'll be stoked if one of the grandkids get one.
yeah. She got a turkey this year with me, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
Kind of funny.
I mean, I was going to ask about that, man. So, like, how does that work out? Does, like, Cody take one of them, you take the other one? Or, I mean, are they all into hunting?
Yeah, this year he got the oldest one. She actually shot a turkey on the ground running a gun with him. And I took my oldest granddaughter from Milwaukee and the youngest in blinds, and they both got turkeys this year. And we were in them, man, big time. So they just had a ball.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it is. I think it's a great way to. I think it's a great way to get kids in the outdoors. You know what I mean? It's just more vocal.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more exciting. They get to hear them. Do you guys have a mess of birds over at your place?
Yeah. We got usually a good amount of, and I got a lease that's got a bunch of birds too. So
nice. Yeah, it's always fun if you got somewhere where there's actually turkeys at. I know where I grew up, man, it was like we barely had any birds around unless you really drove like a couple hours away. So
really?
When I moved here to Kentucky, man, I was like, it's almost too easy. If I'm being honest with you, it's like going from hunting birds where they're almost non-existent to hunting them where it's like, well, if I mess this one up, I'm just going to go jet over to this farm and kill one here. You know what I mean? It's just, I had a lot of fun with it.
It was all CRP, and there was just tons of birds here, you know. And then when we transformed back into farming, it kind of lessened the numbers. But I had my son shot 2 times, one shot one time. My mistake. There was just hordes of birds, you know, coming in the decoys, and it was like, So,
do you bow hunt much of them, or you stick to a gun?
Yeah, I usually bow hunt them. And this year, because I had all the grandkids, I just I didn't go. They seemed like they wanted to go, so I just spent the time with them. But normally I'll take a bow out and chase them around a little bit. But I had to get one arrowhead kill out of one, so to get on video, I got that on video, and then I'm good with that. And we got enough other pro staff guys that are whacking them with the bow. So
I like the guillotine head. If I'm going to be honest with you, man, that's just a fun way to shoot them. And instead of them running away with my arrow in them, like I've had happen plenty of times, like you either knock their head off or you miss them.
Well, I'll tell you what, when you see the video of this arrowhead hitting the turkey, it's in the vitals and it crushes it. It don't run nowhere. It's like it
just popped that thing.
The volume that we get. It's almost like a big, big blunt head hitting them. So that they feel the wrath of the. Impact.
That's a lot of surface area punching through something. I imagine it probably knocks them on their ass. Yeah. If you hit a turkey right, man, they definitely they just flatten out real quick.
I used to blow through them with my regular heads all the time like that, and it's like they weren't even hitting. They'd run off on it. I shot 3 different times. It just really doesn't have the impact. So
yeah, I've heard from a few guys you really want to use a lot of times. A lot of my buddies that are big turkey hunters, they use a big mechanical just to at least like stick your arrow in them. You know what I mean? And they don't seem to run away. It really messes them up. So yeah, man, I was super excited to have you on. I just want to thank you. I know you're such a busy guy, and it means the world to have you on here. And I've been really wanting to have my shit together before I bring you on. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to be fumbling with my words. After 100, I feel confident that we can.
Go, right?
Yeah, amen. But man, I've got some great like random questions that I wanted to ask you, some personal questions. And get into some late season stuff too. So, to get started off, man, I think a lot of guys, I mean, you've been bow hunting for so long. What's one of the biggest regrets that you have in your time in bow hunting?
Regrets.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know if there are any regrets. I wish that my entire life can be October every month. It's like it's you have to go through a whole year to get to the time where you shine and where you love to be out there in the woods. So I fish a lot. I fill my my downtime with a little of that and my passion of, designing products. That keeps me busy until the hunt. And then when this is my MO when that season starts, I kind of drop everything, and I still do what I can during it, but I'm kind of gearing back out and getting more into. I would love to get to another season where I can just do nothing but hunt, not worry about coming back, not worry about finishing up a product, or just basically a whole season of complete hunting. And that's what I'm working toward here. So,
Yeah.
So
Finally getting to that point, finally getting structured. I mean, man, we have had so many products released this year. It's insane. Like new
gosh,
sticks. I mean, multiple new sticks, new, the Ranger setup, the Lone
I
Wolf
think it's
bike. I mean,
over 10 in a year now.
yeah, it's pretty impressive, man. And I freaking love the bike. The rack on that bike is pretty badass.
I'm gonna have to say, I'm a moped guy, right? I had my moped
Yeah.
all geared up.
Uh-huh.
And 3 or 4 years ago, I wanted to do something with a bike, so I bought one to use it so I could get my list of what needs to be fixed. And I took that bike out. It made a ton of noise going out. I went and I turned it off and rode the brakes down on a spot that I slip in all the time. It creaked like a son of a bitch. Then when I got back out of the woods to come out, it wouldn't have the power to make it up the hill. And I'm like, what the frick? I said, this whole thing needs an overwork. So I kind of stepped away from it, and I had my list. And then Dieter started working and designing a bike, and some technologies come forward. And I'm like, yeah, we'll see, And I got that bike this year, and now I'll tell you, a big part of it, and with the rack system on it and all the power I need, it still needs a little bit of fine tuning, but I literally can drive around now with everything I need for a new setup. My trim saw, my stand, water jug on there. I got all of this stuff that's on that bike that I don't even know it's there. And so when I get down in the morning, instead of having a poke around, scout, maybe I have to drive back and get another stand if I'm going to do like a morning setup. Everything's right there. So I see that red hot sign, I could just slap a stand up, get the hell back. Or the other thing is, I scout like a mother, and I put a lot of miles on. But I'll park my moped or my ATV, and then I'll not want to go and blow a lot of stuff up. So I'll walk in a good distance. Man, I take that bike right into where I'm scouting. I scout on it now, so I'm getting 3 times the scouting normally I would get, because you just wear out. There's not enough hours between morning and evening sit. So
Yeah, you're saving your legs.
I just put my stud tires on for late season too, so I'm
Did
set.
You?
Yeah.
Heck yeah. What are you guys getting into that much ice or what?
Well, we're gonna now. I mean, it's supposed to drop to teens and then get some snow. So the studded tires is nice to have. Slippery road or something. Or there's just ice on these lime roads too that gets just slicker than snot out here. So.
Yeah, that's the last thing you want is to fall on your bike and crash your nice new bow into the gravel.
Yeah. That's happened a couple times already, but that's another story. I got all kinds of new stuff and ideas to implement. So,
yeah, that's one of the coolest things. Like getting to know you over the past few years, man. It's like the constant attention to detail and your willingness to just like listen to, guys like myself and other guys on the staff, and really anybody for that matter, and just kind of improve. And I've told people this before too. It's like, it's really cool. No matter how much, knowledge you have, it's like, you're always willing to hear a story from somebody and learn from it. You know what I mean? Like there's the never ending, knowledge building from chasing these animals.
We're constantly making this stuff better because it's passion mine, and we don't get complacent. We get it. I mean, we got to stand as great. It does everything you need, and there's always constantly. Why not just keep improving and making changes? And same thing. I think when I talked to Dieter, and he thought his bike's pretty much dialed in. It's like, well, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and I call him and said, "With a list like this, holy shit!" It's like, why not? Why not just take this thing to the next level and let's just keep letting it evolve? Let's listen to what everybody's got to say, and hold on.
Yeah, I had a few things that I chimed in and tried to tell him, like, here's one thing I would adjust or do a little differently.
Yep.
the handlebars, they spun one time on me. And I was like, I think we need like a stop like a dirt bike has, you know what I mean? So you can't like
Oh,
overspin the bars.
see, great idea. I spun mine too, picking it up off the ground, and
Mm-hmm.
never even thought about that. I just thought, well, it's spun around, but yeah, put that on there.
Yeah,
What does it cost to put that on there and fix it, right?
right. It's just a little tab to weld on there. I
Yeah.
mean,
I reversed
but yeah,
my whole
I saw
steering
you
around.
reversed your. I know. I
I had
seen
the
that.
handlebars facing closer to me, so
Now, like, what does that do for you? Does it just free up more room on the front end of the bike?
I shoved the seat up closer, and I shoved the handlebars back further. And when I first rode it, and I talked to Zach Robb too, running up and down these steep hills, you are literally leaning, almost falling forward over the bike going down. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so I did a bunch of other stuff too that I won't mention yet, but now I'm more straight up, and if I go up a hill, I can actually lean my body back and get or forward without the stress. And if I'm going down a hill, I can actually lean back and get my center of gravity up over the bike instead of, I could barely, some of these hills, you could barely hang on to that because your weight's all going forward on them handlebars, So
Yeah,
one more change I'm going to make, I got them back further, and I'm going to take a handlebar and go up 4 inches higher.
I
And
gotcha.
then, and we're also messing around with some stuff with the pedalings where you don't even have to use the pedals. I use foot pegs,
Mm-hmm.
and I could literally stand most of the time that I'm driving now.
Yeah, that's
So it's,
usually what I
and
do too, generally.
you can do that with your bike now too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it is just, I'm 2 inches, 3 inches up off the seat. So the seat's still wedged between my legs, and it's almost like I don't know, one of those unicycles or something.
Yeah,
Take the beating of the terrain.
yeah, yeah, man. I'm floored with it. It's been I hate to say the word game changer, but it has been a game changer for me
For,
accessing
for
some
me,
of
it
these
has.
farms and yeah, like just
Yep.
being quiet. And I've even rolled by deer and they're just like they'll just stare at you as long as you don't pay them any attention, man. They're like
Yep.
business as usual. Like here's this weird dude rolling through here all quiet.
I
But
was just talking to Dieter on that, and I noticed on mine, because I have a lot of open terrain I got to get through, that coming out at night, I was starting to leave the light off and doing it, and it seemed like they would wig out more. So having that light on, for me, the deer were, they could like see you coming from a long way and see just heading on through, and would
yeah.
stand, like you said, watch you. And when it was off, I think I was getting up on them a little closer without them knowing, and then kind of startle them a little bit. So I started
Hmm.
running that light where I was worried about it. Obviously I got it pointed at the ground now, not out at their eyes. But little things like
Yeah.
that you learn by just starting to use an e-bike.
It is. It is. There's some learning curve there. I had to cover up my screen. I ended up just bringing a little phone case that I'd slap
Yep.
over top of that screen display. And then I used a headlamp because where the
Mm.
light is, it's like it shines directly on my bow because I mount my bow up front. And
Oh, good.
I got a pretty nice headlamp that's pretty bright. And that's been the
Yep.
ticket for me for going in and out in the mornings and stuff. But I like
Cool.
just going in and then I cruise and like go in totally silent so you don't hear the motor or nothing, and then just lay the bike over
Yep.
and go into the woods. Man, it's been great for some of these like winter hunts too, like these late seasons where it's so cold and you'd be sweating your ass off if you had to walk 500 or 600
It's gonna
yards instead of riding a bike.
it's gonna be interesting late season with some snow to see how it all pans
Yeah,
out too. So good.
yeah,
I
that's
think
the
I got
only
the
thing I
balls to
haven't
cross
done.
the creeks. I walk them across the creeks, the bike. So
Do you?
yeah,
I was
there's a
wondering
couple that I
about
get
that.
across, but some are just with the big boulders in there. The last thing I want is to dump.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
did
I've
that
done that
once with an
enough on a dirt
ATV.
bike. I was gonna
Yeah.
say on a dirt bike, man. You just lose that front end real quick. But
Yeah.
man, one of my other
So
questions for you was like in all these, all of our technological advances and stuff with like mobile hunting. Do you feel like we've kind of plateaued for where we're at?
no,
No.
no. I
Where
got
what
new
do you
stuff coming
think?
here this next year.
Yeah. What do you
We
think
got
is
some
going to
new.
change? The materials or the
I'm gonna go see.
sizing?
We're pretty much dialed in with our stuff now. We're gonna um, they already integrate into the stands, but we're gonna fine tune that, make this stuff quicker, um, lighter, a little more compact. We're getting back. So this year, I ran predominantly early, 0.5, a little lighter version, and the new micros. And my
Okay.
God, it's like I don't even have a stand with me on my back. My pack with all the shit in it weighs more than that horse setup. So I'm gearing everything down. And you talk about being a machine, taking that in and to set and I don't set a lot of sticks. And the reason I like those micros on smaller diameter trees, where normally I'm going low, I like a smaller, brushier tree, not the big old tree that's standing out.
Mhm.
And I take two of the sticks and set them up on the ground and take the last one with me, and I can set up and tear down and be in and out of there. And I mean, it's so quick. It's not even like a
It
big
is.
deal. So
Yeah.
um, then when I get into them bigger trees or a little bit more, I'll take the 7.5 and a 1.0. Like now, late having some sets with a lot of the big clothes on. That 1.0 is it's a dream to have that extra room if you're going to spend some time in there in that colder weather. So it all has its place.
Right.
Pick
It is.
your favorite tool,
Hmm.
uh,
It is
and
situational,
apply
man.
it.
I mean, I wanted to ask
Yeah.
for like in the later portion of the season like this, would you rather hunt in a smaller tree low or a bigger tree and
So
get up higher? Like, what's
so
your
everybody's got
if you had a ideal?
everybody's got that everybody's got that backwards. I hear it all the time on these on our page and on other on the internet and stuff. Yeah, I'm going a little bit higher late season. Late season is the time you don't want to go higher. Man,
Right.
these deer will look at you frickin' 80 acres away, spot you up there, and they ain't coming or turning around.
Mm-mm.
Or they'll come in or staying away from that tree. When you stay low and you keep them getting silhouetted, um, they don't know what the hell hit them, and
Yeah.
they'll come out and go by. So I literally go higher early season, even though there's all that cover low. I do it for scent management because early season is just horrible for
I agree.
scent.
Yeah.
And the mornings, carrying that shit up and off with good thermal changes, phenomenal. So
Hmm.
late I stay low, and then earlier I'd lean more toward a higher set. So
Yeah. Now,
again,
like
situational.
yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. I mean, I kind of feel like the saddle style really shines a lot more in this later portion of the year because I like to put a tree between me and the deer. And if I got a bigger tree, I mean, I can absolutely just tuck behind that thing when I see a deer coming in and then, make
Right.
my move at the last second. But, when you kind of touched on thermals, and that was another question I had for you. As we get into this like later portion of the year and the temperatures are a lot colder, do you feel like the thermals are easier to predict? Um,
Uh, Usually in October, there's the biggest change. It gets ice cold in the morning and then hotter than hell in
yeah,
the afternoon. That thermal change is your biggest change, but you're working with sloppier wind, more humid
that's what I was gonna
weather.
say. Our winds have been terrible in Kentucky this year, man. Like so variable all through the season. We really
Yeah,
didn't have any cold weather, and it sucked. I mean, I got blown at more this year than ever.
yeah,
Uh, so, and
and that
it is
stuff
what it
will,
is. But
that scent will get stagnant and it'll actually move up against the wind a little bit, push out, and it's amazing. I'm trying to get some video footage of some of the stuff. I always call that thermal creep. Um, you're solid. You got a good steady wind. You got the thermals in your favor, and there's a doe catching a little of that flow, um, which you think is almost impossible to do, but it's because she's looking and she's paying attention.
yeah,
Um, I want to do a whole deal on thermals on how to manipulate
hmm
the thermals on that. So that'll be a whole new concept to
I
because
would
I
love to
see a lot
see
of stuff
that.
again. I
Yeah.
see a lot of stuff on the internet that just is they got the base of it right, but some major things wrong with it, and it is the game is manipulating the wind
Right.
and it's in your scent, and
Yeah.
it's you win that game, and you've got. I've always said a million times, if I could be completely scent free and fly to my stand, I'd kill anything I wanted and taking candy from a baby,
That's right.
But
Have you seen the smoke bombs that people are using to like really
yeah,
give people a visual? What do you think about that?
it's I don't know. Okay, so you get the visual. What did the visual do for you? You already know that your scent gets up and disperses and goes all over hell, right?
Right. I understand. I guess it's more for people that are just learning about thermals and scent. I feel like I
Yeah.
mean, I'm more of a visual learner, right? Like, I mean, we can talk about stuff, but I feel like when people actually get to see something and, with their eyes are like, oh, it clicks a little bit better.
Yeah, that way wise. I'm the same guy. I'm kind of a more of a hands on to show you to get you an image, but I don't know if the smoke uh, is the same as
It's
your
your
scent.
scent. Yeah.
I think your scent's a little heavier and a little more obvious. Now, if you stink like a freaking like a goat,
Yeah.
you might have some issues. And there's another thing that I wanted to it just burns me because I think I said it years ago and I set the stage for that um, you can never beat a whitetail's nose.
Right.
So now the new rave is like, don't worry about scent control and just play a wind to the tee. Well, that's not a good idea. You need to be clean, have your clothes clean, and learn to play the wind because there's levels, and I think a few of our guys have said it before, there's levels of scent that you can get away with. And if you just flat out, like if I were to give you a visual and I wanted to train you on scent, I would take a room, fill it with skunk scent, and I would walk you from outside without telling you and walk you in there and just look at the expression on your face and what you smell. That's what whitetail smells, what you're smelling. You can't smell it. It's so fine, but to them, there's
Yeah.
big drastic amounts of that.
Right.
So it's just, if a deer's not paying attention and your scent is low, you can sneak by maybe with that one.
Right.
Or if that, the amount of, if you got a lot of scent going on and he's not paying attention, he may pick you up. There's just levels of it. If that deer is looking for you, I don't care what you got and your level's low, he's getting your ass, because if there's any amount of molecules that get to his nose, he's going to pick it up. So there's all different. The rut's different for does. For bucks, and the does are different. They're the biggest busybodies out there. I think it's easier to get up on a buck scent wise sometimes than it is on an adult doe, because that's what they do. They pay attention to that shit all the time.
Yeah.
So there you have to, and you don't have to get nuts. Now I agree 100%. Spending all your time on products and all that bullshit with that, none of that works.
Yeah.
But you still need to get out there with clean clothes.
No, and I've heard you say it before. I
show.
mean, one of the most important things is just letting your camouflage and letting your gear air out and get sun on it, and it gives it that natural.
Fresh,
yeah.
Fresh air and sun. So, and I've noticed, because I've done this for like 4 decades now. When I do a final, if I need to do a clean of an external garment, a lot of times I'll go with external garments and not wash them the entire year. They're going to do better out there than they would in a. And when I do have to go into a washing machine with non-scented stuff and wash them, I noticed a 3-day period, even airing them out, that them deer
They still
just
have that
kind of
little odor to them.
And as it gets older and more to it, you got to remember, there's shit in these washers that your wife's using that are chemicals, scented shit that, even though it's not in the wash that you did, is probably getting a little of that on her. And them deer smell that just like you going into a room with skunk. It just, it's no good, So, like, if you did contaminate a garment, you're going to need to wash that to get the general part of it off. I tell guys, I was telling a buddy of mine just the other day, bacon vapor, stews and stuff in the house, you walk through and that entire house has that smell. You walk through that just a little bit with your hunting shit on the way on out, and a tiny little thin film of literally fat and scent just got over it. It's on your body.
Are you in there eating breakfast with your gear on every once in a while? Don't lie.
No. Gear. No, okay. I keep that out there.
So what's your regimen? You get back from a hunt, will you immediately take your gear off, like out in the barn or something like that, or what?
All the well, if there's no cooking going on, I'll skip through the house or whatever. But it goes out, it gets off, gets taken off. My undergarments, I'll go and I'll eat breakfast with, because they're contaminated and they're going in the wash, and I'm getting a new shower. But when I get out in the field, I got fresh undergarments. I got all clean clothes, and I scout with it all clean in the fresh undergarment when I get out of there. You don't want to go back in your clothes, get breakfast, and then go run around with shit all on your clothes, the vapor of bacon or food or whatever. So I'm
Yeah.
clean all the way, and that's what's great about this bike now. I can have shit with me, get that done, get back, and then do my eating,
Hmm.
and set up for a new evening. Then a new evening's another shower, clean under clothes, and then your stuff that's outside. So you're doing the best you can without jumping through
Yeah.
hoops and spending a shitload of time on it.
Yeah.
Just smart.
Another cool thing that I picked up from you was using a clean towel and not
Yep.
like not letting a
Shove that shove your towel in your face and smell it.
oh
So
yeah.
when you got all your
No,
towels in there, go in there. You'll see the one that mom used the freshener on, and the other one that didn't use it on, and it's
you
just
would laugh, but I swear to God, it's like I'm religious about it now. Like I'm smelling, I'm like I can't. Like it smells like my daughter's conditioner, all these other scents in there, and my wife never picks up on it. And I'm like, I must have. I do think I have a pretty good sense of smell because I can pick up on stuff that nobody else does. And I'm like, you don't smell
I'm
that?
the same way.
No.
I
And
got a
I'm
good
like,
I got a good
damn,
sniffer.
man, really? Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, if I can smell it, then obviously anything else can smell it. So I'm
Well, yeah,
a firm
deer can
believer in
smell
that. But yeah,
100%. And you're never going to be
well,
100% clean. So
yeah. I got a couple random ones here. Do you prefer late season over the rut? I know you're not a huge fan of the rut, but like maybe
if
even
I'm
let's
hunting
just
a specific
dissect it.
if I'm hunting
Yeah,
a specific deer,
yeah,
100%,
right.
because
You
the
think it's
ruts.
easier to pattern?
Oh yeah, oh shit, it's like 100%. The rut is. I've said it a million times. A deer don't know where he's going, and he doesn't know where he's going tomorrow. He doesn't know where he's going to be the next day during a rut. So how are you going to know that? Late
Yeah,
season, these big pigs will pattern back into a food source, have their bedding, and their cattle come into to feed back and forth. They're way more patternable late season there during a rut.
yeah. Now, like when you're patterning a late season buck, what's one of your favorite ways to go about it? Will you just do like boots on the ground, or do you like to glass a little bit more, or
I still I
how do you
still do
approach it?
boots on the ground, but I'll do glassing. But I got cameras out.
Yeah,
Still a big firm believer in um, the camera advantage. So I'll know where they're at. I got food plots in. You could see a big one feeding on the back food plot there. I mean, it's how much easier than that. Now you just got to figure out how to uh, ambush them on that plot and get them. And I've set up my plots over the years. They're not kill plots.
right.
So you got a deer coming out in the middle of an wide open field that you really can't ambush on unless you have been in a blind or you had a muzzle loader. Well, there's 360 degrees, and the further out from that spoke you get, so it still takes a little bit to manipulate where that deer is coming out, and that
Yeah,
would be a visual set. One set that you can see the whole shit and still hunt and see where
yeah,
he's slipping out. Then you just slide over there and you get your good clean sit. And, wait for a good weather pattern for him to move early and
yeah. Would you prefer it
take another one.
in a perfect world? Would you rather ambush one in the hardwoods this time of year, or would you rather hunt on a field edge?
Well, okay,
Like if he
so
was coming out to the
late season.
field and you knew what trail he was taking, just as an example, would
Well, I
you
would
rather
never. I
cut
would never
him
go in
off going? Okay.
Yeah, there's no reason to get in the woods, and even I'll take it a step further at this time of year. So deer early hug their food sources. They're like living right in the beans. They're right in where the food is. Everything's a close type of deal. It's scheduled. It goes back then late season. The nastier the weather, it's all about what big deer is reserving. Is reserves, preserving, not burning up what they got. They
Hmm.
don't have to like eat a shitload, but the more they run around, the more they got to travel. They don't like to come out in the morning at freaking 0 degree weather because they extend more energy doing that. They'd rather sit and chew their cud and then come back out when the sun's out and they can
Yeah.
graze in that. So a lot of times, late season, I'll actually field edge hunt on the morning too. The
Okay.
deer are still back in just off that woods, um, or the field edge in the woods bedding. They're bedded at sunup. And then all of a
Hmm.
sudden at 7:38, it starts getting a little warmer out. It's like almost like an evening sit, but a morning
Yeah,
sit. They
I
go,
agree.
they feed, they go back in bed.
Yeah, I've learned that a lot, especially last year. I hunted all the way through the end of season for this one buck, and it was kind of like a light switch event almost at 8 o'clock when the sun would start to rise. They would finally warm up, I guess, and they'd start entering the field. And man,
What
sometimes
sucks,
at 9 o'clock, it was better than, the last light, in
yep.
the evening.
But what sucks about it, you got to be in there at sunup, set, ready to go.
Yeah.
So you got to wait it out,
Yeah.
So,
Right. Now, like in a scenario maybe where we're not hunting like ag and, we're hunting like some CRP or just strictly hardwoods, do you think
mhm.
that's more difficult to like ambush a deer in those situations?
Well, CRP fields, if you got a spot where they're feeding, I think they eat more on CRP and grass late season they do on ag and all that. They do that to get their grain, but some of them really big deer I've noticed over the years, um, and I could do that because I can visually see from my house. I got my Vortex spotting scope now, and I can watch what's going on even after the season. And I'll have, let's say I have, this is when the property was overloaded. Let's say I have 65 head of deer coming out to a big area. I got food plots. I got beans, I got corn, and I got greens. Either alfalfa, clover plot there, and I'll look out there, and the biggest deer that are out there are in there. They eat the corn, they eat the beans, but they spend most of their time in the green roughage. Now in
Okay.
CRP, there's all kinds of that stuff under that grass that they eat. Not that
Hmm.
they won't eat that, but they need, for some reason, I don't know the specs to it, but they need more roughage. So knowing that, you can have a food plot that looks really nice and pretty, and then all your big deer are, back in CRP, living and feeding and just living
Enjoying the
large,
cover.
So, uh,
Yeah.
yep, get in there. You
You
got to
think
look
that has a
around,
major
find it.
part of it with the cover?
What's
Do you
that?
think that's why like they just prefer to be, tucked back in
Well,
where like they have an advantage?
yeah, but I wouldn't put a whole lot on that because, like I said, when I have 65 head of deer out here and they're there's cover in the corn that could be in the corn eating. There's standing
Yeah.
beans, and then the clovers they're out stark wide open, But they do prefer cover over, and why wouldn't you?
Right.
Less, you burn less reserves because you're not out in. That's the other thing I got to with my food plots way out on top of hills and stuff too. The deer expend a lot of energy sitting out there in that. So I'm going to gear up next year and start doing more pill plots, more stuff tucked back in next to the timber. Um, I don't know why. Maybe I'm just getting a little older and taking a little easier route, but uh,
Yeah, hey, whatever,
it's
man. I know I've heard you guys talk about that, how you really didn't set it up. I've heard Cody say that, like, why, how come we aren't setting these food plots up to kill? And I think, did you kind of just do it as like a lesson for him? I mean,
yeah. Well, if you can figure out, and he can figure it all out now,
yeah,
but if you can figure out how to ambush, anybody can, jump on a bait or jump on a food plot where they're coming to and get a crack at that deer if he's there, if it's good um, to manipulate off that and try and ambush. Just think of how much area he can approach now. If you got to do the field edge and off that food plot, there's a lot of area that deer can slip in and just run
yeah,
circles around you. So you got to be a good at figuring that out. And I think I've got good at that over the years. But
yeah,
um, it's a whole different world, and you know, food plots is almost like bait. They're coming to that. You make them smaller. There's another thing I've learned over late season. When it's super nasty, and this could be in the CRP, it can be wherever. If CRP is kind of spread out, but if there's more isolated food plots, more isolated in the timber, let's say you're hunting locust, a big deer, especially when it gets super cold and a lot of snow, is going to find a spot with food, and he ain't moving. He beds there. He freaking gets up there and feeds, and he doesn't wander out a lot of that. That is the ultimate time to bump and dump these big bastards. You go bump
yeah,
them out of that spot, and you'll know. When you see the spot, you'll know there'll be piss there all over in different spots, different beds from him there. It's like he's just wintering out a little, maybe the size of your house area, and
hmm,
there's not a lot of trails coming in and out of it, and that's where he's living. You bump him off that, set
he's
up, buddy,
coming
because
back.
he's coming right
Hmm.
back in. It's the easy route. Same one out here, and I watch these food plots. You'll have your deer out there, and they'll be the nastier it is if you leave your plots where they're big enough with a bow that you can't get them. Big deer
Yeah.
will come in and they'll hang up where you can't shoot them.
Uh
It's
huh.
almost like they know they're being hunted there. You make
Oh
it
yeah,
small
for
enough, it's
sure.
like I'm taking a chance, and I'm coming in, and I need something to eat. I'm coming in, and with them out here, I'll have these does out there, and they all are cocky little assholes when the weather's nice and they don't have to come and feed. But when it gets
Hmm.
nasty, it's like, now you're in control, dude.
Yeah.
They'll see
Amen.
you,
Yeah.
and you come out in the yard. They won't leave because it's going to cost me more energy to run off and come
Right.
back. I need to feed. I need to get back to bed, and so
That's
it's funny. I
interesting.
just like it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, when you guys, when Cody was just coming up, I know you guys kind of like keep to yourselves a little bit with like, sharing information and stuff like that. But was there like a kind of a mentor period for you like trying to help him, or did you just kind of throw him to the wolves and like let him learn on his own?
Well, he had a slower start. I mean, I'm talking very start, where first to get his first deer and all that. They just banned baiting in Wisconsin. His sister came in when there was baiting, so I could take her to a little honey hole pond that was loaded with bluegills, and she can have her way. And so we could put some baits up and hunt with a kid around that. Ashley shot 2 doe in her first time out at, I think she was 12 or whatever. And then they eliminated that. And we hunt kind of big swamps, so you had to get a little stealthier, and dragging a kid in doing that's tough. I remember one time um, taking him up, and then I was hunting, and he was sit and watch, and we had two decent bucks come out. I passed them both, and then and I was there to shoot a doe for him to get some. Those bucks weren't big enough. Um,
Yeah.
and then I wanted to kill this doe, and this doe came out and fucking beat my ass. She nailed, got wind, nailed us, did a big loop around. It's like, damn, why didn't you shoot those bucks? That's what I was trying to shoot that doe, and she kicked my ass. The 2 bucks I could have killed, but
Yeah.
I said they weren't big enough. I was holding off. They're as big as anything you got on the wall. I said, well, no, they're not. They're close, but they're not.
Yeah.
But there's the story. There's 2 bucks that could have got killed, and the big alpha doe slapped me in the face in front of my kid. And
Yeah. That's how it goes, man. I've always
she was
said
the monarch.
some of them does can be way harder to kill than bucks. I feel like a lot of the bucks I've killed over the years are not very difficult to put an arrow in, but them big does are the hardest things to evade.
Yeah,
And
they're tough. But back to the story on that. So
yeah.
then, he had a little rough time. Hit a decent deer, didn't get it, and then was moving at the wrong times or doing all that. But then the one day we went to, I think it was Illinois. He shot his first, I think, Pope and Young. He had the problem a lot of guys had was that they get, I think it's the fear of failure, like a hesitation to take a shot or to make the move. And all at once, and I can see this visually, that them deer came in. It happened quick that time, man. He got up, and he frickin' just got up, made the turn, and just smoked this thing on the move. And I just knew right then and there. I said, well, he's got it figured out. And from then on in, it's like no hesitation, no worried about failure, just going at it hard and frickin' starting to knock shit down, and pretty steady. So then we hunted, going down to the properties the same and all that. And then it got to the point, then he got, I think he was picking up stuff from me that, just like you did it being a father, you don't have to say nothing, you have to do nothing. You just live around them, and they kind of pick up that vibe or learn stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then we, still hunting in the same woods, same property together, but hunting alone. There was no more of me filming him in the stand or going together. And then you get to the point where you're starting to chase the same deer you're chasing, and now we're,
now you guys are butting heads.
We're all out for that. Yeah, I don't know if we're butting heads. I guess we butted heads for a little bit, but now he does his own thing. I do my own thing. I wish him the best of luck and all that, and it's pretty impressed of where he's come in the last few years. If you had the opportunity to see what he's harvested over the years, and
absolutely, man, it's so
that's
awesome.
That's pretty good for a guy that age.
Absolutely. What's your favorite memory you guys had together, like hunting?
Oh, hunting wise,
yeah.
I think that was pretty special to see him step up and kill that first deer, and see him get over that hump.
Yeah.
I know enough that I knew that's what happened there, and that was the beginning of it all. Some people probably don't. They're not really. But then I'm a product of my father.
Mm-hmm.
So in my upbringing, nothing's ever good enough, so or big enough or wide enough or whatever it is. It's the stuff that he does could be the best in the world, the best in his class, best a lot of things, and it's never, I probably always leave that we can do better, we can do that. We tried managing, and doing all the things that I don't know if you can really grow. People do grow big, huge trophy deer, but if you leave it like it is in ours in a while, there's it's really tough to do that. So, on managing deer, are we going to just go out now and just start killing? I'm at a point that I want to kill a certain class deer. Well, he's not there yet, so he's going to go out and get his wings and shoot deer maybe that I wouldn't at that time. And now he's at that point.
Maybe now you guys are both there. So
yeah, and now he's back with a recurve, which is hats off to anybody that can chase these animals around with recurve. I never could. My first kill was with a recurve. I hunted with it a while. I wounded a lot of deer with them. I never mastered that game. So I'll probably stick with my compound on that, and then you can ease up on your class of deer. And I think that's what I'm doing this year. I'm taking this Vice one and see how this works out, because I want footage
from the outside perspective.
When you see the footage I got this year, I started out and I passed up a legitimate net Boone and Crockett. The more I think about it now, and I'm still, and so I did this somebody gave me an archery challenge. I came off a really bad year last year, and I've never had my confidence shaken, and it was all health related issues shaken. So coming back this year, I wanted to get back in shape. I'm back to the old cocky self. And when nobody was seeing deer this year, I got it all on video. Everybody's having a tough year, but deer were in the corn, they weren't seeing shit. I'm passing up. I got tons of bucks. Boone and Crockett, I'm hearing people talking about not getting back in the woods, not getting in there. I'm back in the woods where the deer are at, not sitting around waiting for shit that to happen. So, so now I'm killing a few deer. I know now I'm confidence back, my shooting and all that. Everything's I'm back to killing machine. Now I'll probably do that this year, and then next year I'm gonna focus back into less with business and get back into my passion. I'm gonna find me and locate me some absolute fucking studs and go hunt them down again. So
hell yeah,
that's what I really like to do. I really don't I don't have a lot of pressure on me having to produce. I can go for the rest of my life without killing anything, and I got enough on the wall to carry me through to the end, So
absolutely, man, you got nothing to prove. I really enjoy just I feel like watching you get back to just enjoying knocking down deer, man. I feel like this year, it is. It's building you back up. You like I said, when you first jumped on here, I'm like, damn, man, you're looking good. You definitely, I can tell you're in good shape now, and it's kick ass. I mean, how old are you, Andre?
I'll be 64 in January here. So
that's awesome. That's awesome, man. This one's a little bit more personal, but like, what's one of the biggest things you want to pass on to your grandkids? Like, if you want to call it a legacy, or what's something that you want them to like look back on and think about their they call you Nanu, right?
Yeah, Nanu. I think there was issues of doing things for your family and your kids and things that are looked upon where it's said that you can rob them out of their rob them out of their chance to go and find their own way.
Mm-hmm.
I had pretty rough childhood with as far as we didn't have a lot of money. I mean, not a rough childhood. I don't have any dreams of having a bad one at all, but it come from little means. And for me to be in an area now that I can give back, I don't give a shit. I'm making a decision. To me, that was what's most about my life, that I was able to provide for a family, create something for them, and to leave that legacy to them. And I would love to see those two little boys and actually we got more girls. Shit, I got four girl grandkids now. Two we're getting bigger, but I won't be around to see it. But man, if they were still running this business, carrying on the family tradition, I'd be resting in peace, brother. Big time. I guarantee. Little Nunzio's in there assembling with the guys already knows him by first name, and um, it's it's
That's
just
awesome.
awesome to see. He's
It
talking to me
is.
about me and Cal were building sticks today or whatever. He was loading up the washers, whatever. At what 5 years old?
Right.
Uh,
No, it's instilling good work ethic in him, man. He gets to see you guys, chasing your dreams. Like, I don't know. It really is like the
Lorraine's got
American dream, if
drawings.
you ask me.
Yeah, she's got drawings of ideas for tree stands.
Really?
I come in there that day and I'm, what's going on here? She's showing me this drink holder that she's got like dialed into the thing, and I'm like, man, this is insane. So I think I saved one of her drawings here. I kept it for myself. So how does a kid pick all that up? They pick it up from little on,
Yeah.
seeing it all. How did Cody uh, pick it up? Every one of our kids has got. I said it before too, but every one of our kids has got scars on their foreheads. I built stands out of our home for years. There was always stands laying around. I was working on it. Kids smash their heads on it, get cut open. So everybody's got their lick from our lifestyle. That's just what we do.
Yeah.
I didn't go to the office. I'm not an engineer that has a big firm that I can work in. I love working out of my home. I love working close to home and in small shops. And it's me and Lisa were watching TV the other day. She's 63. We're assembling packets. The guys are behind. They need packets we got them all stacked out here. We're enjoying,
Yeah.
each other's company, and we're stuffing packets. I was dyeing washers a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I don't need to be doing this shit. It's home for me. It's
Yeah. Just
it's a
stuff
good
that needs to be
feeling,
done. Yeah.
yeah. But it's so yeah, I don't know when I'll call it quits completely, but it's nice that there's guys there that are capable. We got guys hired now. Alan's running the shop, doing a great job. Cal's in there doing a great job. We got the marketing guy. All of you guys are goddamn the salt of the earth, dude. All you guys I met over the year that are pro staffers, that are friends of the family now. I didn't have that in years past. There are people, like-minded people out there now that myself, it's great to see that. There wasn't back in the day. You
Really?
had your guy in this town that was that serious hunter. It was one dude, man, that was on the edge. He was hunting with your shit, and everybody else had the Walmart stuff. Then you go to another town, and it was like they trickled all over the country. There was a lone wolf guy there that was just hardcore. Everybody talked about, yeah, that guy shoots a big one every year. He's hardcore. All those guys, there's a lot of guys like that now, and they're all gravitated toward this brand, and you guys are killing it out there. Look at you now. You got your 100 episode of a podcast.
Yeah. I never would have thought.
One of the best shows out he's got going.
Yeah. No, man, the community is honestly, it's kind of mind blowing to me to look. I've been with you guys for 5 years now, and the amount of like really good friends, like there's just a support system this year just blew my freaking mind. Like, I mean, I shot a decent buck this year. Wasn't my best, but everybody just congratulated me. It's just unreal, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know how I got to this point, but just so many good people, man, and quality people that give you the shirt off their back, if you needed it. And I can't really think of many other hobbies where you have that many quality people,
Yeah. And I have the ability now at the age I'm at to sit back and like just like with him when I seen him turn the corner with deer hunting, that I'm watching all you guys grow. I mean, I'm watching guys that came on board that were just kind of clowns out in the woods stumbling around and shit, and then are freaking absolute killing machines now. I mean, just shit. Justin was out here. He went and scouted a spot, and when I went and put a stand up in her, he told me what to take a look at it. I came in, she was done. I was shooting the shit with my wife. I said, dude, that's my freaking MO. What are you doing there and shit? He's got that stand loaded around, all brushed in and shit. Just a complete killing spot. I think that's actually we shot that deer too this year, but he wasn't like that before. He was like freaking stumbling around and not getting all those deer. And all these guys, all the guys in our crew are just, you can see, I was far enough back to see it because when they bought their first stands, when I met them at shows, they were like kids, like young kids. And now they're like I was 20 years ago, man. They're just ate up with it and they're going at it hard. So,
yeah. Yeah. And I mean, like, I know I've heard you talk about Todd Pringnitz. I think that's how you say his last name. I know from Wicked Tree Saw. So like, I've heard you talk about that guy and like really get to see his progression and like his passion for the outdoors. And like, where do you think like people really get the click? Like, is it just from being in the outdoors and surrounding themselves with guys.
Yeah, you got me a little emotional now with that one because I almost did something on video and I didn't know I didn't want to open old wounds and stuff, but I literally had a moment in the woods when I killed this last deer, and the enjoyment and the love of it, the weather, it was just the first little snow, and it just everything about it was just. And then he came to mind, man. I literally had frickin' tears thinking about him, and I always say that I thought I owned the passion for the sport. Nobody could love it as much as I can, and I probably told you that before. When I met him, I met my match. That kid was so frickin' ate up with this sport and industry, and look where he came from. I was able to see his whole career develop when he first came, and he actually helped me out in Illinois. And he had it all wrong on the scent control and all this shit. And I sat him down. I literally, because he's a smart kid, and he changed like what he did. And I seen him turn the corner on our conversation. I seen him get it. He went out and killed his first Pope and Young that week down in Illinois. And it's been nothing but he's got it. Look out, let him go, right? Mm-hmm. And you see where he got into his own deal. He moved from another whole state somewhere new because of his passion. I had it, but I don't know if I had it that much. So, God bless him. Rest in peace, brother. I think about you often. Every year I hunt, I think about him, and I have other friends that have passed. A good hunting buddy of mine overdosed on drugs. Another guy that was a young engineer coming from Michigan, was coming to work for Harley, was going to moonlight for us part-time, got killed in a motor accident his first week. New family, new life, and just snuffed out. So there's a lot of scars in the past too that when you're older, that shit all comes to it all comes to the top, you know. So now I guess I'm able to not take it so serious and kind of enjoy it a little bit, but I still love it. Putting the wits up against just an absolute monster, man. There's something about a giant that just drives you, man. So
it does, man.
You know the bug.
Oh, absolutely, man. I'm bit pretty hard. I think my favorite part is finding one deer and really like honing down him and having the multiple encounters with him, and like it broke my heart this year. I had a buck that I chased all late season, and I get on his ass, and I chased him for 3 days straight, and I had encounter after encounter. I finally dive in like where his core area was, have him at 40 yards, and he gets smoked by a rifle hunter the next morning. And I was just like, it was a low blow. It really did drive. This season took me from the high highs to the low lows. I mean, it was definitely a roller coaster.
And that's where my motto is. You were on to that big one. You're freaking in the zone, almost ready to close the deal. And I always say, never keep all your eggs in one basket. While that was going on, were you still scouting and still poking around looking for the next victim or job? Or
I mean,
you just yes hard and no. On that one.
I was hard on that one, dude, and I wanted him, and I wanted him bad, and I knew I was going to kill him, and I tried everything to kill him before rifle. So I knew he was killable. I bumped him. Mm-hmm. I honed in on him. I finally just dove into this bedding area because I was waiting for him to come out of it, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to die.
No, I love that. The gloves are coming off, brother.
That's it, dude. It really was. I was like, you know what? It's now or never, man. Like, I'm going to either blow this bastard out of here, or I'm going to kill him. And I seen him. Yeah, no, it really did, man. Like this year, I think I learned more than I ever have this season. It's been really rough, but I feel like.
You know how hard it is when you got that in hand to not keep something else going. You probably lost a week and a half of hunting when that happened. Now, if you had another lead on another good one, and you were keeping monitoring on it, you could have jumped from the one and been in the game for another week and a half. It probably took you a little time to readjust, locate another, or maybe you never locate another one. But back to that story about you're moving to Iowa, aren't you?
Yeah. So I moved from Maryland to Kentucky, and now Kentucky hasn't really worked out for me. And yeah,
you're the same dude like Todd, man. You're ate up. You're going and moving somewhere because of whitetail and deer, right?
Yeah, so. And thank God I have such an awesome wife that supports me, and you know, I think it really is the best for our family, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah.
it's bittersweet. I've made some great friends here, and I do love the area. But if I'm being honest with you, man, I had a dream of I had a vision, and this just isn't what I envisioned, man. And
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. I'm sure somebody's going to be talking shit about it and saying I'm crazy or whatever, but I don't really give a damn, man. I'm living my life for
No,
me, and and I don't
we
think
all
I'm doing
do
the
it.
wrong thing. I don't. I
Yeah.
really don't. If anything, it's going to put me in a great location to hunt multiple states.
Hang on one second. I don't know if
Gotcha.
that is a fire alarm or.
So I'm gonna give you a couple rapid fire questions here to kind of round things up. But what's your favorite buck to date and why?
Got it. It kind of changes. I mean, a lot of these, because I do a lot of the same, a lot of these bump and dumps. My favorite buck's always been the next biggest one because I chase numbers, and then you conquer that next number. So there's that. But I had a deer, 157 that I almost killed like opening day and hunted him through the entire season and literally connected on the last day of the season. It was the most drawn out, long, grueling, enjoyable, probably the best adversary I've had out of all the deer. And ended up and it got to a point where I literally could not get my bow back, and I knew it was seconds and he's going to get by me. And it's like just about tears in my eyes that I could, because buck fever. I don't know if you understand buck fever. Buck fever is the anticipation of a moment that builds up. It's not just that one
Mm-hmm.
deer, and these guys that get it when they get it like instantly. That's the easy buck fever.
Yeah.
Get one where it's built for a whole season and multiple freaking encounters with the thing all into one last chance, last minute,
Yeah.
last day. Dude, you talk about pressure. And I
Yeah.
got her back, man. I got her back and I got her done. So
I have been there. I had a
that's a good
buck I
one.
chased one year, and I could barely draw my bow back, and this son of a bitch just looked at me when I got the full draw. I ended up smoking him in the shoulder, and I never found him. But
Yeah.
yeah, I know how you feel, man. It really was, and it was like, what? It was the torture. It was snowing, and I had to watch him walk. It took him like 30 minutes to walk into me. So like my heart's pounding watching him, and I'm like, all right. But then like as soon as he turned broadside, and I knew I was going to get a shot at him, man, it like just started all over again. And he
Well,
wasn't a
there's
mega giant or anything, but
dozens and dozens of occurrences like that. But I think over the years, I mean, it's that anticipation of. I really think for me. It's always been I was a goal setter, so I love the bull hunt, and then like to set a goal. An athlete, you go for records, you go for things of that nature. But I really think it's the chase that I enjoy more than the kill. Because
yeah,
I wasn't even on record, man. I think I turned on back in the day. I was like, man, I wish I could they'd allow me to literally hunt with a hypodermic needle, where I could just shoot these deer, frickin' get them down, measure them, take pictures, and then let them frickin' go. It wasn't a big eater, and I just was to the point
yeah,
where, in the success of this, it ends up there's a dead deer at the end of it. So,
yeah.
the family
And it's
enjoys more of
bittersweet
that
when you
now.
finally kill him. Yeah,
Yeah,
it really is. I've had one deer that I really chased for 3 or 4 years, and I remember sitting over him and just thinking like, well, man, like I've spent all this time just trying to kill this one deer, and now he's dead. And it's like, where do you go from here? It's almost like it is a
I remember a
bittersweet
guy.
feeling.
So even a deer, let's say the deer beat you. He peeked and he made it, and you didn't kill him. I'm not going in to kill that deer. He let him go live his life out and shit. Even though he's a dandy deer, but
Yep.
he beats you at your game, and that's one you're not going to get. But there's a lot of killers out there, but the ability to, and Cody hates that when I say that. When you become a hunter, not a killer, a hunter. So you can hunt shit down and look at a cat. Or I watch these cats that they catch shit and they just toy with their frickin' with their prey, because they're so good at what they're
Right.
doing, that they just, I don't need to eat this deer, they're just mouse or just chipmunk or whatever. But so in it, there's that camaraderie that, the gun hunters had in that. And I never really had that. I did a little of that. I was more of a lone wolf all the way. And I think with bow, you almost got to be, it's kind of it's a
I
lone
agree.
sport, it's
It is. Do
not a
you
team
do
sport
you
per
ever
se.
feel like
So,
you wish you hunted more with some of your buddies? Like whenever Justin's in town, I mean, I know like you guys got to hunt a little bit together this year. Like, do you feel
I
like
mean,
you kind of wish you
I
did
think
more of that?
not really.
No. Okay.
And even now, it's hard to do it because here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell him that. I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to tell everybody. If you're out to get what you're out to get, throwing another guy in a fucking thing is like throwing stick in the spokes of the wheel. Your
Yeah.
your numbers and your chances just go down. You don't need somebody else in scouting around, fucking around spots that you don't know. It's going to lessen your chance. Now so the gun hunting deal that wasn't about trophy. That was about camaraderie and everybody getting together. There was generational shit in Wisconsin that was.
Yeah.
I didn't have that, but my wife's family did, and they brought me in, and those were some good times, but there were some dangerous times too. And I'm just a loner, man. I like to just go do my deal. I like to run a trap line alone. Now I'll tell you what, who's my wife's coming with me to Illinois in a camper while I'm hunting. She's doing her deal. I'm telling you, my partners are on their way out now. I got my partner for hunting. She don't hunt, but she's
Yeah, absolutely, man.
along in it. But it is fun. I even mentioned to him, man, it is a good time in it. And we weren't out for any world class shit here right now, but
Yeah.
it is a lot of fun that I guess I didn't have, and I'm enjoying doing again. But shit, you went out to a lease and you got 5 guys on a damn thing running around.
Yeah.
I went back to that lease for the first time, and I almost killed, dude, a world class deer on my first sit in. I don't do it much, but because I haven't been down there and I played it safe on the set, I scouted the spot out. So I opted for, because I could probably get it done here, but I could learn a lot from here. And if I would have been in the kill tree that I should have been in, and that deer, they found that deer dead now. It was, I don't know, 230 or something, for just a world class whitetail. And then he got by me, and then I started making change up, and I started going too deep on him, and I literally was. He knew he was being hunted. I got a trail camera picture. I went in at noon to move a stand situated around, and that thing was bedding like it's so thick and big back in there. He was bedding 25 yards from where my axis was to go in to ambush him on these spots.
Yeah.
So I dove in, did a change round. I came back and I grabbed the camera and I went back to the thing. I dove in and that son of a bitch jumped right back out on my trail and
That was it.
freaking. Well, that wasn't it, but he knew, he was playing. He was freaking running circular. I went too deep, man. I pushed it too far. You know what I mean?
It's the name of the game now. So, yeah.
Then I wanted to go down there that year and just kill a decent buck and get the hell back out and go after the one I had in Iowa. So now my old shit kicks. Jesus Christ, how can I kill something else when that thing's on his property? I can't.
I can't imagine that.
Now I'm stuck. Now I'm torn between 2 monsters here and there, and frickin'
right.
That's what's hard. That's what's really hard to do. But now I get 3 tags in Iowa. I never filled 3. I usually just go after one good deer, and I got other states I can hunt. So I'm going to enjoy a little bit. I think more in the future here with this hunting with buddies a little bit, and
I think that's what it's about. In my opinion, I've really kind of this year. It really is about maybe not even just hunting with your friend, but like the camaraderie of sharing, your hunts with your buddies and just getting to connect.
It's 100%. All the guys are the same, and I'm just not cut from that goddamn cloth. I just so growing up, parents would move out of a house into another one. I'm in a different school every year, different neighborhood just about every year growing up. So you don't make a shitload of friends. I would find one good friend, and he'd be my friend, and guess what? Knowing that next year he's gone and it'll be somebody else. I keep moving on because you're moving from neighborhood to neighborhood, and I guess there's one big regret I've had in life. more upon this, is that all those good friends, they probably don't realize they're really good friends and they'll always be. But back then you moved on. Now you don't have to. Now we're all mobile. I can be friends with you from, West Virginia or guys in Pennsylvania, because it's a whole different world. It wasn't that then.
Right.
So I never really got to getting a lot of friends. Now, and all the guys that I have or I know that are friends of mine, everyone hunts and is hardcore hunter. I don't have any other friends because I don't deal with anybody else on that. So it's good to have those guys. But my mentality with hunting, again, was the same thing. We'd have that camaraderie. We'd go to camp, but dude, you get this side of the farm, and I'm going after this one on this side of the farm, and we separate that. I had a buddy once who he'd come over. Hey, got a lead on that deer, man. We should go. All three of us go in there and line up and cut that deer off. And I'm like shaking my head, and like, no, that's not the way to kill this deer.
Yeah.
Like someone will get the crack at him. Well, I don't. I'm out. You guys go do that, and I'm just gonna go. What I know, I'm gonna read some signs, set up, and I'm gonna get on them. I don't need three guys to cut a deer off. I can get within 15 yards of him pretty good on my own.
No doubt. Right. Yeah. You guys are just gonna mess it up.
Yeah.
All right, another rapid fire question.
On that.
Hey, man. I mean, if you're on here, they should be learning some stuff on this one. But what's do you have any favorite hunting songs that you've had over the years? You got any specific jams you would hit on the way to the woods or what?
So the one that Abram wrote, I think he said I inspired him on that, the Lone Wolf. That's just got to pump your.
It does,
especially when you're.
It's available now on Spotify too, which is kind of cool. It wasn't before. Yeah.
Even not going in, but especially when you succeed, punch that thing. And now I've always had a reputation as being kind of a cocky, arrogant type. I'm really not, but when I score a touchdown and I beat somebody and I spike the ball maybe or shove it in their face, they did something in place that did that. So I'll spike the ball for myself.
Right.
And plugging that in after you kill your deer, man, pump it up a little bit, man. Ruffle your feathers. You conquered something. You accomplished something, man. Be proud of it,
Yeah.
But that song. But I do like the Fred Bear.
Fred Bear
from Nugent. That's an.
I had a feeling you were going to say some Ted Nugent. I was wondering. I was like Stranglehold.
Yeah.
Fred Bear. One of the two.
I went to a concert back in high school. He was that was the Grand Slam Jam, man. It was a pretty awesome experience. So.
Yeah. Yep. That's awesome, man. Mine's been tequila this year for some reason, or like the past couple years. Tequila. I don't know what it is. It's my good luck jam. I don't know. Just chills the vibes out. I don't know. But I've had.
It takes, brother.
Hey, exactly right. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's how I feel. But it's just kind of funny, man. I figured I'd ask you that. Another rapid fire one here. What's your take on using scents in scrapes? Are you one that's going to leave just hunt a scrape and not doctor it up with anything? Or over the years, have you?
Now this is going to fucking sound arrogant as hell. And I think people know that I did that in the past. I would scout out a certain buck, the dominant buck, and because I like to hunt and I like a challenge, I would literally mark over him just like they mark over him. I'd piss in his scrape.
Mm-hmm.
Let him know it's fucking. I didn't know if it did anything or whatever. I wasn't a big scrape hunter back then. Scrapes are a part of my program throughout the whole season now. I've learned enough about them, how to manipulate them. Obviously, there's a better times and less better times, but to take, and guys do. I mean, we have pro staff guys on there. Troy is definitely one, and other guys that are doing mock scrapes and they have success with them and doing them. My whole model for killing the biggest deer in the woods was always that complete and utter surprise. If I can scout out a spot and get what I call a virgin sit, an ambush on him, where he has not a clue anybody's coming, anybody's there, that's my highest percentage chance of closing that deal. If I'm going to let him know by rattling or putting a scent out or whatever, and he gets his guard up, for 40 years of hunting, it lessens my chance. So I'm a scout, bust shit up, mump them out. People think that's reckless and that's like letting them know, but the ambush spot where he's getting hit, he ain't got a fucking clue.
Mm-hmm.
I got that dialed in. He's coming through here. The wind's right. The stand's right. The sun's right. I did one this year, an hour and a half, set up the tree that I needed, cleaned it, trimmed it, and here I blew this one. This is going back to that story about letting that Boone and Crockett. I ain't done with that Boone and Crockett. I'm going to kill his ass yet this year.
I had a feeling.
So
I was wondering.
somebody, and I did this with this deer. Now I got it dialed in. I got it pinned down, and I'm going to kill this fucker tonight. And the whole deal was you have to take your target buck and let him go on your first opportunity, and then hunt him back down.
Oh, okay.
I hunted that deer down. I hunted that deer down another 2 times at as far as almost a mile from the one location to the other. 3 times, and the son of a bitch was squirted on me. I took a little off his neck hair. So what happened is I went in. I knew this was going to be it. I had a stand that was there that I could have, and I knew that where he was going through was a long poke. And I said, you know what? I'm going to spend the time. I'm going to set this stand up, and he comes through here. He's dead. And what happened is I ran so late into that evening post. It was getting to be 2:30. I had to run back, grab a shower, get cleaned up, get all new stuff, and get back. And he came down like clockwork, even early, 45 minutes in the stand. I'm like, this son of a bitch, 24-inch wide, just big slob.
Yeah.
And I got a shooting lane cut where he could take it to the right where the deer go, or he could take the logging road to the left. And I got it anyway. He's coming, and all of a sudden he stopped. And I think there was just a little of that scent not burn off that was, around. Not me. He was just from all the, walking around there, trimming shit, moving shit around. And he knew something was up. And I'm ready. I got the bow. I got the film running on him. Go ahead. Take it anyway. You're fucking dead. Right, left. I got this new fucking white that I cannot miss with, dude. It is just it's a shoot and killing machine.
They are, man.
So he's not liking it, and the son of a bitch is gonna bug out. He's gonna jump up and go up a hill and jump the fence and go out, and that's the one area that's got all kinds of limbs and shit. And I just screw this. I'm picking the hole and fucking and took it. And I thought that I got him.
Yeah.
I got down, I seen hair, and like, son of a bitch, I slipped the son of a bitch through, and I got this bastard. End up looking back at the footage. It hit a branch, veered off. And that's the third occurrence I could have killed him. The other time, I'm going to give you another one. You want to shit. I'm up in a permanent where he beds back in there. He comes out, and this is a killing spot at that time of year. These deer just moved through there via just where it's at and where they bed. And I'm up there, and there's nothing going on. It's a lockup period. No does out in the field. No bucks. And I'm up in a stand, and I'm scared to death. I got a lifeline, and it's so fucking high. It's just one of those permanents that was there for years, but it's a killer spot for scent control. So the scent's literally blowing right back where he beds, but I'm so high, it's just, even on evening, it's just
going
getting
over top him
and down a mountain.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, I really do not want to navigate this is a 35-foot set. Limbs, thick here, screw in there. I got to jump over a limb to get to this limb, to get to the next, to get up to the killing cubby. And I'm like, and even with a lifeline, my man, I want to be able to see to where I'm to get down on the son of a bitch. There's a lot of math to do, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to get down like a freaking idiot early.
Oh, no.
I'm talking, I got 25 minutes of shooting left with the camera.
Really? What made you get down that early?
It was just, nothing was going, and I was wigged out about getting out of that stand. That's a dangerous freaking stand to be in. I should not be in them.
Yeah.
It's just a freaking horrible. To get down, like I said, at dark it's a pain in the ass. Your flashlight looking at where to go next on the limbs and navigate, whatever.
Right.
So I take my camera off. I put my camera arm away. I still got my freaking bow and my damn release on, and I hear cracking behind me,
Mm-hmm.
The deer's coming. I'm like, fuck. So the thing's coming. It's coming. And it literally steps out. It's straight away from me at 10 freaking yards. The shots I love, high or low. I mean, I could have killed this thing. And I could have killed him. And I'm like, I go and I grab that. And I've done this before. I grab that fucking camera arm out of the bag, and I'm setting it back up and shit. And I'm trying to get the camera, and he's getting a little further and a little further. And here's what screwed me on this one is the guy that did my food plots, that son of a bitch, took a swatch before he left me my shit, so it should have been closer to the tree.
Yeah.
He got to them beans and started feeding on them, but it was out way too far of a shot, and here's another occurrence. And you don't hunt animals of that class down to get more than one opportunity. Now I'm on, this is my second opportunity. I told my wife, I said, I think I blew it, man. I had my opportunity to hunt this thing down, kill it. And now I got to do it again. And the third time was when I shaved him.
Yeah.
And you know what? He's still running around out there, and there's going to be a fourth occurrence, and this one he's going to get it.
No doubt. No doubt.
But yeah, it was a hell of a ride, man. I'm still loving it. In between, I'm killing bucks.
Yeah.
As I'm going and still be able to hunt the deer downs. Yeah.
That's awesome.
When I told I think even Justin, I said, this one's got some special spot in my mind, so go hunt that side where he's not. I'm going to hunt this buck, and like I said, I think he said something to even Mike that was out here that he thought I was going to have that deer killed pretty quick, and I had my opportunity, and I blew it. So, but I'm good enough that I know this land, and if he's living on here, I will.
Oh yeah.
If Cody don't get him or some other guy that's we got gun season going on now too.
What's he got to wait for? Do you guys get to select, right?
Late season muzzleloader.
Right. So what does that give you? Like 2 weeks or 1 week or what?
No, it's later this year, so it's yeah, I guess it does. So I didn't even think about that too, and I got somebody coming out from muzzleloader, but I think the 22nd it gets back in for that, and then you can hunt with a bow with a muzzleloader tag till let's see, January maybe 12th or 11th.
Oh, that's cool. Good deal. Good deal.
It doesn't leave me a lot of time, does it?
I mean, I think you got enough time to kill him. You better go figure him out.
I hope so.
What do you do in between now and then? Like, will you go do some observation sits and kind of try to figure him out, like ahead of time?
Well, I don't like to be out here jagging around because the gun season pushing stuff off. But I'm out there now monitoring food plots. I'm out there I know where. And here's the thing too. So this is hard. I want that deer obviously because of the challenge I took on it. But there's another couple bucks here that they come in before that one might get an arrow in them. So a lot of them are now in a spot that is very, very difficult to get through to the terrain and how to get in and out of hunt efficiently. So I'm going to burn a lot of shit up to hunt a certain part of that farm. So I'm going to get in there now, and I'm going to find a way that I can get back in there through the center of the property, not having to go around and there's so many open fields and shit you got to screw up to get to those to hunt it.
I've been back there. It does, yeah. I was going to say, access is huge at your place.
I want an efficient way in and out to that spot to be able to hunt morning and evenings without them knowing I'm back in there hunting. That's my goal now in the next week is to do that. Like it closes here now Wednesday. Then for 2 days it's closed. I'm going to go in and I'm going to find that. And obviously it's going to be freaking 10-degree weather and not be real enjoyable. But that's
perfect.
That's what I'm going to do. I need an access on that piece.
I was going to say, do you ever mess much with the Egyptian wheat and those tall grasses and stuff to try to give you some screening?
Next year, next year it's I got limited amount doing it, but I am now. That's going to be my hobby, playing around with different plots, different things, putting up some barriers like that where I can get in without them seeing. I want to be able next year to take that bike literally to just about every stand in here somehow, or whether if I cut a trail, steep some of these bluffs are, right?
Oh, absolutely.
There's some logging roads that are all overgrown and shit, maybe that I can get down in, get through on those roads and get to at least a walkable distance to efficiently hunt them. Yeah. So once I do that, that's my goal for next year. Yeah. All the creek crossings, I want to be able to ride across them with an electric bike.
Right.
I don't want to have to walk across them,
Set up some bridges.
Yeah, bridges or stone based that's even, get rid of all the boulders in there, bring some rock in, and that's fun. That's fun stuff to do on the off.
It is. Yeah.
Decent, man. That gets
I enjoy that stuff, season. Man. It does. It gives you some projects to work on that are going to really help you aid you in being successful. So, yeah. Well, dude, I'm going to wrap this one up with one more question for you, and that is it's a two-part question. So for some of our younger guys out there that are still single right now, and they're addicted to whitetails and they're addicted to this, what's your biggest piece of advice for finding a quality woman for them that can deal with the obsession? What are some traits that Miss Lisa's had? And
Well,
on the other side of things, what
I
are some
started
things
dating
that
her
you've? Okay.
I started dating her at 14. So,
Yeah.
um, and it still was a struggle through the early parts. We're gonna actually even do maybe a show or something on wives in this industry with them. But
Yeah.
so her father was a big hunter. Her birthday is on November 14th. Her father wasn't there for her birth, wasn't there for her birthdays. He was in the woods, family tradition in Wisconsin, hunting for deer. So I got a sweetheart. Coming up all the way, she just knew that
Yeah. She got it.
hunting was like what first. It's not anymore. I'll tell you that now. I finally figured out. I dwelled on what life was all about, and I've finally figured it out. And it was that it's that lady right there. I
Yeah.
wish I'd have known it earlier or realized it earlier, but I was so self-centered and selfish with my own ways that it's just what happened. And all of this wouldn't happen if it wouldn't have been that way. But
Right. Can't
I would
change the
say
past, but yeah.
one of our whitetail addiction guys is uh same thing. He's literally letting that woman know, just like if you had a medical problem or some type of issue, going in, listen. And I got another buddy that's just met a new girl too. I got to tell you right now, right forward, that at this time of year, I am not going to be around and accessible to you. Let them know going in. Don't hit them with the freaking surprise attack. And if they got to know what you're made of.
Yeah.
That's you.
No,
That's maybe
that was
yeah.
that
Maybe
was what
that's
we
who they're
did.
going to fall in love with.
Hell, it
So,
was in my wedding vows, dude. I mean,
oh
it
shit.
was. I'm not kidding. No, my old
You're
lady
hardcore.
knows. I mean, hey, like
That's
everybody
good.
knew it, dude. When we first started dating, they're like, "Well, we'll see if she makes it through a hunting season." It's like a joke, and it's like, no. I mean, I think it's
You got
big.
it.
It's important to get your women out there with you. I know some of
It's
us,
huge.
it really is, man. But make them a part of it. I've really enjoyed taking my kids with me and my wife. Like I went and took them with me on the recovery of our latest buck, and like
Yeah,
I think,
we've done that.
yeah,
Shed
just
hunting.
yep, shed hunting.
Have you taken her hunting yet?
Yeah, she killed. Look, this is how awesome she is. She would not shoot a deer with a gun. She went out of her way. She shot her first deer with a compound bow, and she really wants to get back out, but it's really hard for us because we don't have any family here. So it's kind of a challenge to
Yeah,
get
you don't
both
want
of
to get
us
her.
out.
You
I
don't want to
know
get her addicted like you're
no,
addicted.
I
But
definitely
Lisa
don't.
too.
But
I hunted with her a little bit and trapped with her, but hunted bear, and I told that story a few times too. But she's too damn good. I do not want her freaking hunting whitetail in my woods. So I always joke that I kept her knocked up for the next freaking couple of years and it kept her out of the woods. But she went up. I took her. Never shot a bow before. I got her shooting a bow, shooting out of a tree stand, shooting on a black target. Took her bear hunting. Shot the biggest bear in the camp that year with a bow. Then I took her a few times whitetail hunting, and she didn't like that because I was really anal about what those deer. The deer coming in, they bugged out like hundreds of yards through open field. I said, "They seen your freaking white face. Your freaking
yeah,
skin is white as freaking white. You got to cover that up, and you can't be blinking them eyes. There's no way that deer seen that." I said, "The hell it didn't. It bagged you cold turkey." But so we ended up going our separate ways, and on that, she does what she enjoys to do, but she loves to getting out, and she loves to fish. Like I like to hunt, so I did. I'm starting to do that too now. My God, for me, fishing for bluegill is like watching paint dry.
oh yeah,
So I took
I
her
agree
and her
with you.
dad out this year bluegill fishing, and they loved that I was there, helping kind of controlling the boat. And I think she loves that. She musky fishes with me, but I think we're going to do more. I have the
Yeah,
time
man.
now. I can let loose in the business a little bit. So
Yeah,
I'll let them
that's
know
what it's about.
point blank going in that this is who you're marrying or this is who you're dating. So
Yeah.
otherwise, it's not going to work.
No, and honestly, guys, you really can't do this without having a quality woman, or you're going to have some serious issues, especially if you're a family guy.
Yeah.
So
And
hats off to him.
you're still going to have some issues, but at
You
least they
will, but
know
it's,
going in,
I mean,
Yeah.
you got to do what you got to do, man. You got to, make time for them.
Absolutely.
And, exactly. It's all about managing. But Andre, I can't thank you enough for joining me, man. It's been a blast talking to you. And all you guys out there that are still
Keep in
listening,
touch.
appreciate y'all. Yeah, I will, man. We'll
You'll be in Iowa.
we'll
You'll be
definitely,
close now. We can hook up on some shit,
yeah, for sure, dude. I know. I think I looked it up the other day. I think I'll be like a couple hours away from you guys.
Yep.
So I'll be
Yeah,
coming
not
and
a
swinging
problem.
by the shop every once in a while and hanging out.
Sounds good, man.
All right, buddy. Well, have a great day, man. Appreciate you.
Merry Christmas.